Mevo Multicam most recent release is version 1.05 or 1.0.5, parentheses 113. And this was a bug fix that came out last week in order to correct a crop and zoom error that was happening and a couple of other minor things. They're still rolling out features, and so when we consider what Mevo Multicam is going to mean for churches, we have to keep in mind features are still being added. For example, that same crop and zoom I just mentioned is something that still requires an orientation flip of your controlling device. So whereas the Multicam app is written to be in portrait mode, when you go in to change the crop or the zoom, you have to tap on the ellipsis for the camera that you're wanting to change and then choose crop and zoom. And then it flips the orientation to landscape for you to have a full screen picture of what you want. You pinch to zoom in or out, and then it goes back into once you've hit done and okayed that particular change. As long as that's the case and you don't have the ability to quickly set up presets and you don't have the ability to change between those presets on the front face of the app and not have to dig into menus, it's limited as to what Mevo Multicam will mean for churches, because although you can set up 3 different camera shots, you can preset those shots with the zoom that you want. All you're getting in comparison to the Mevo 2.0 app is just extra cameras. You don't have the ability to have the 9 individual shots yet. That's coming. They say everything that has been available on the Mevo 2.0 app is making its way to the Multicam app. And so we expect to see that. We expect to see on the front face of the camera the ability to tap and hold to choose zoom shots, presets is what they call them in Mevo 2.0. So that's one of the things that is a hold up for my church, for some churches that I've talked to in the past couple of weeks, to using the Multicam app just yet, because a correctly mounted, in the right spot, kind of centrally located camera that is, 8 to 12 feet from your platform is going to give you 9 shots. And if you're using a Mevo Plus for that, and you can catch all of the stage from left to right, or if you're using a Mevo Start and your platform there is a little bit narrower and you can catch all of your stage from left to right, then you're actually going to have more features, more shots, and the ability to choose them better out of a single device in Mevo 2.0 for now. But as we look to the future and see how Multicam is going to affect the way we set up shots and what we get to cover, then we're going to find that this Mevo Multicam holds an incredible upside. So I'm mounting a couple of Mevo Starts on either side of my auditorium, and I can begin using Multicam. I have my Mevo Plus mounted, hung from the ceiling. Power run to it. That's the one that's connected to the Rode Wireless Go that is receiving sound from the sound board at the back of the church. And it's that far from our pulpit. I'll run another Mevo Start on the far side there to mirror what I have here. And we'll catch a good side view from either side, be able to catch any solo that happens at the piano. Of course, from the front shot, I'll be able to catch the entirety of the stage. You can see the 2 Mevo Starts on the arches just below the light tray, left and right, and you can see the Mevo Plus mounted in the middle, aiming at the middle of the stage. So then here is our view with the 3 cameras that are set up. Currently we are seeing in the preview area the central Mevo Plus as is labeled at its camera. Switching from there to the left-hand side view, Now that is zoomed all the way out, so if I want to change that, I can go to crop and zoom on that particular camera. My main purpose for this shot, not necessarily to have the pulpit in focus, but to actually catch the announcements as they happen pre-service. And the gentleman who does our announcements almost always walks this area. He's going to walk from between the front pews to the third or fourth row, and so this shot's going to give me a good clear view of that, so I can zoom to that and have that view in my left hand side. And then switching back over to the right hand side, I get a good cross stage shot. It's going to give me my instrumentalist on the stage. It's going to give me my pianist there, keyboardist there on the far end of the shot there. But that is a zoomed shot as well, so I can go in and change that. If I want to come over and catch what's happening on this keyboard, I can. Or if I want a bigger general shot of what's happening there, I can. Now you notice the backlight, and that does in fact wreak havoc in our shot. But it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to ruin the shot. And I'll show you, once I get out of this, I'll show you what I've done to try to combat that backlight and make sure that I'm handling it well. In that camera's image adjustments, I want to make sure that my metering is in crop and not wide. And then I want to make sure that my exposure metering is set to be the best picture that I can get. So for this one, I've chosen spot. Now I've played with it. So here's what the light will do when I choose center. Doesn't change much. What it will do when I choose average. You notice that it gets darker to try to handle the light that is there in the shot. So I've stuck with spot on this one, and it really does brighten up there. It's the best I can have when I have a bright light in view. And if I'm going to use that particular camera shot, I'm going to have a bright light in view. Most of the time, though, I will be running this straightforward shot because it catches my instrumentalists. It catches me whenever I'm bringing the message. So the setup you saw described there was similar to a setup that a church I served on staff back several years ago had installed when they built a new building. 2 side shot cameras and 1 center shot camera. Now they were needing to throw the center shot a long way. It had a long throw lens on it, and so its ability to zoom was much stronger. But that setup back 15 years ago was in the tens of thousands of dollars, and it still would be several $1,000s to have 3 PZT cameras and the equipment to run those, the control board that it takes to run those, and then of course all the setup that it takes then to stream past that. So one of the great benefits of multicam is in the MevoCamera itself, and that is in its cost effectiveness. The 3-pack that they have, I believe it's back ordered today, as of right now back ordered, but the 3-pack they have for sale on Mevo.com, being $1,000, gets you 3 cameras to set up just like I have here. All 3 Mevo starts. They don't have the Mevo Plus that I have, but that doesn't make any difference. You're going to be able to catch everything you need with the 3, and with multicam, you have the ability to set those shots. Then to add maybe an iPad to run them, and a microphone or 2, if you need a microphone or 2 to get sound from your soundboard or from just general ambient sound, however you choose to do that, is still going to be a fraction of the cost of other systems, other setups. And the ability to have a camera that is such small in stature with an incredible battery life, if you choose not to power them, then to be able to mount those cameras where you would normally, in the same footprint, you would normally put a microphone is an incredible advantage. I'll be doing a graduation service. I'll be streaming that service this coming weekend, and I'll be able to set up my 3 Mevo cameras, use Multicam to stream that service and catch not only sights of, not only views of the stage itself as graduates walk across and receive their diploma, but also to be able to catch views of the audience, to be able to catch views of the individual as they shake the hands of the superintendent there as they receive their diploma. So those different shot setups, because I can place them and they're not obtrusive. It's not a big camera on a tripod that blocks the view of someone. It's just as though a microphone were sitting there. So there's another of the advantages for a church, especially a small church like mine. It's cost effectiveness and footprint of these cameras. A couple more reasons why Mevo Multicam will be a benefit for churches, especially small churches, is one, because it is a single user interface. One person can run the 3 cameras that Mevo Multicam can handle right now. One volunteer on a weekly basis can make sure your live stream going out is the quality that it needs to be, so that helps. Almost all of our slots are filled on a weekly basis by volunteers. If there's service to be done, a volunteer steps up and serves. And so to have a single user interface and to be able to run this set of cameras once they're up and turned on one device, one iPad is what we use. Of course, you can use an Android device as well, but having it all contained in one is a huge benefit. One of the ways that happens is that no matter where your cameras are, because you have control of all of them that are attached to your Multicam app, then as you go into that ellipsis in the settings and as you change the Mevo settings or the image adjustments, whichever piece of the puzzle you're looking at, the crop and zoom for now, when you change those, say you crop or you zoom into a spot, and in this church, there is indirect lighting. And so you see that I've got some there. And when I run a cross view, a side shot, I'm always going to catch some of that lighting. And so for the image adjustments to be able to change how the camera handles that light is a great plus that happens in Multicam, because I don't have to be at the camera, or I don't have to go into a separate anything to make those image adjustments. It happens there in the Multicam app for that one volunteer who is running that part of the stream. So there's another one of your benefits. I'll list one more caveat to what Multicam is as of today. For now, you still have to set up your sound settings in the 2.0 app. So if you're going to run the Mevo Mic app as another microphone, if you're going to run the audio from your soundboard through, say, a Rode Wireless Go, like I do for my center-mounted camera, you're going to have to turn those on. Make sure those settings those sound sources are being picked up in the 2.0 app before you get into the Multicam app. Because if you're streaming from an iOS device for now and you get out of the Multicam app, it's going to kill your stream. Don't know that that's the case for Android. They may be a little bit ahead of what we are now on iOS, but that's one of the things that hasn't made its way over yet, is that individual control of the sound settings in the Multicam app. I'm sure it's coming soon. It's just not there yet. So that's another of the caveats about that's part of what Multicam is for churches, and maybe part of what keeps folks from using it just yet for their go-to source for streaming their church services. Multicam is ultimately going to be the best thing for churches, especially small church streaming. I know in the COVID pandemic that happened last year, still ongoing in some places where folks just aren't ready to get back into the normal swing of things, live streaming our church services has become the way to reach our people. It's one of the most important things that we can do to get the message that we have into the hearts and minds of the people that we serve. And so having a quality stream through Mevo Multicam is one of the best solutions we can come up with for proclaiming that message.